Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode is going to be on another, issue that's going to arrive. You can call it an epidemic, if you will, because I guess that sounds more of a correct term, or pandemic, depending on how you look at it, right? So if what we're going to talk about is depression and suicide. So suicide would probably make it, depression would make it a pandemic, and suicide would make it an epidemic action, right? So a lot of people are starting to commit suicide. A lot of people are suffering from depression because of this lockdown, this pandemic. Now, even if the lockdown is lifted, I still fear people are going to be depressed because of what's going on, right? That being said, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed immediately. Problem with this pandemic, the coronavirus we're talking about now, is that I think people are suffering from depression because of the lockdown and because of what's going on. The number of people dying, people losing their family members. So it looks to be a bigger problem mentally than we're actually addressing it. So while this is becoming a big thing, if you're suffering from depression because of a situation, that is not clinical depression. It's two different things, right? Clinically depressed clinically depressed is somebody who is suffering from a chemical imbalance in the brain that leads them to always be depressed. COVID-19 isn't that, doesn't fit under that. It's situational, right? And obviously, if the situation ends, you can feel better about yourself and you could come out of this situation better and stop being depressed. Whereas clinically depressed, no matter what happens, you're always depressed. Now, in this thing we're going through right now, if you are depressed because of the situation, if you are depressed because you lost a loved one, you're going to need to address it. You're going to need to talk to your family members. You're going to need to write it in a journal, work out, walk, do whatever the fuck you need to do to get your mind off the situation. That's the difference between, again, clinical depression and situational depression, if you will. Situational depression is a situation, it's causing you anxiety, worrying, and sadness. Leads to depression. Like I said before, you need to address it, especially if you are one of these people feeling these emotions. Now, I am going to go into a more in-depth mental health video, but I'm working on it because it's turning into a big thing. It's turning into a big project, which is not bad. Being that it's a big project, it's not a bad thing at all, because there's a lot of information involved in this video with mental health and coronavirus. So my fear with the suicides and depression getting worse is holiday seasons. So if the second wave happens to hit, and it's a lot worse than this, or what the coronavirus was, sorry. If that second wave hits and it's worse, that means restrictions are going to be worse. And if restrictions are worse, that means way more things are going to be shut down completely, and some kind of enforcement of staying home is going to go into play. That's where the problem lies. And if the second wave hits at the time they think it's going to hit, which is around October, November, that's holiday season, guys. Now, holiday season always drives up suicide. Always. Every year suicide's up because of it. With suicide and depression going up during a regular year, right? So let's say last year, year before, every holiday season, suicides, depression goes up because people feel bad for themselves, they're lonely, whatever it is, and then there are people who kill themselves, right? That's during a regular year. We're going to call this COVID-19 year, right? Or COVID year. And a restriction on COVID year would people not be able to go to see their loved ones, not be able to travel, not be able to hang out with their friends. That's going to drive depression and suicide way the fuck up. And that's the problem. Now, suicides are up this year because of the lockdown, because of COVID-19, right? I'll get you the percentage of how much, but that's a problem. So now heading into the holiday seasons, forget it. So there are things you're going to have to do to prepare yourself, especially if you're one who gets easily depressed during holiday season. You're going to need to prepare for this, because if the second wave is bad and if they put us on a more restricted lockdown, you're undoubtedly going to be stuck home. So you're going to have to make the best of it. The one way to make the best of it is Zoom your friends and your family constantly. Talk to your friends and family constantly. Do not fall into yourself. Become a shell. Not a shell. Sorry, wrong word. Don't cut yourself off from the rest of the world. Do not become that person. You're going to have to be a stronger person this year. A much stronger person. We all are, right? I hear people complaining about being depressed, and I hear people complaining about being sad, and a lot more than usual, of course. And granted, what's going on would warrant that. So being at a situational, I can say, sort of a good thing, because once this is over, things will get better, you'll get better, you'll feel better. But you are definitely going to have to be tougher this year. And that's what it comes down to. And that's where the mental toughness comes from. It comes from you being tougher than ever because of this shit going on. Like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned it again. To combat this, you're going to have to come up with a plan. So whether that plan is writing in a journal, working out, talking to other people, texting people, you're gonna have to figure it out, right? You're gonna have to figure out what's good for you and what works for you. Working out, punching a heavy bag, that's for me. It might not be for you, but if you never tried it, you should try it, right? If you're not a talking kind of person, like I know a lot of veterans, they're not talking kind of people, but maybe you should try it. Right? Talk to a complete stranger that's willing to listen. I'm a complete stranger to a lot of you. I'm willing to listen, right? Whatever your gripe is, whatever you want to talk about, you can contact me. But I also put numbers for suicide and, I guess, depression at the bottom of the screen here. And consider those numbers, guys. Make sure you consider all your options. You got to exhaust all your options before you make that final decision. Now, there's one simple solution. When I was talking about working out, writing in a journal, talking to a stranger, walking. Walking is probably the best method that gets rid of depression, especially walking in the wilderness, guys. I get it if you live in the city and this is your only choice. Walking around, so be it. I mean, walking around a neighborhood like this is not relaxing. But find a park. Also, there's something else you can do. There's something called grounding. All right, so if you're in the woods, in the wilderness, you take your shoes off, find a nice patch of dirt, and you just walk around slowly, or stand still with your sneakers off, socks off, and your bare feet on the ground. It's a technique called grounding. There was some research behind it really working as far as positive energy flowing through the body. And what I meant by working was there was a study where a guy, and I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos before, there was a study where a guy had ulcers on his legs. So he had scarring from the legs after the surgery. What they had him do was ground with one leg, shoes off, socks off, and then he kept the other shoe and sock on. So when he started grounding, they noticed that I can't remember which side of the leg was, but let's say the left leg healed a lot faster than the right leg. And you do feel a difference when you ground. So you can also try that. If you're going to walk through the woods barefoot, you got to do it very slow, and you got to be methodical about it, because you do not want to step on a pebble. Trust me, I've been down the road a few times. All right, so look into that. And again, everything I say, you could look it up and research for yourself, so that you're not just taking my word for it. So it seems like shit's back to normal. We're almost there. It's a lot of traffic. I'm walking home. there's a lot of street traffic. So things are getting back to normal. So for those of you who are suffering from depression or the loneliness or whatever it is, things are getting back to normal, but slowly. But you need to prepare for the second wave. That's the bigger problem. That's my bigger concern. So I'm sorry for beating a dead horse, but I am really concerned about the depression and suicide over anything else. So again, my apologies. You guys have to take care of yourselves. And there are vitamins you can take that are going to make it better. I'll go over those in a minute. So vitamins you can take. Niacin is one of those vitamins. Niacin's very good. So niacin's a vitamin you can take. Niacin's very good. Vitamin D3 is good. That's going to boost your emotions up, right? B12, also for energy, for those of you who are feeling low. Those are going to help you. It's not a cure-all. It might not stop your depression, but it'll definitely give you energy to do other things, to get your mind off of what's going on. There's a list of a couple other things, but that's going to go in the video, the mental health video I'm putting together. So I'm at the halfway point right now. My video's done. So this is the Angryprepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can like and subscribe to my outdoor channel. And if you do not mind, you can follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching.